Why? Maybe we figure out what everybody else is doing.
We're ready for the meeting.
But you're sarcastic. Good evening, welcome to Corporate Service Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Moved by Jason, second by Donna, that the Corporate Service Committee meeting be opened at 7 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of minutes, moved by Steve, seconded by Mary, that the agenda for the Corporate Service Committee meeting for October 20th, 2025 be approved as presented. All in favor? Any disclosure, pecuniary interest in general nature thereof. Adoption of previous minutes, moved by Donna, second by Steve, that the minutes of the Corporate Service Committee meetings held September 15th, 2025 be adopted as presented. All in favor? Carried. Items for discussion. Report from Public Works Manager, circular material agreement extension.
So on June 27th, 2025, an updated depot options agreement was received by Circular Materials to be implemented starting January of 2026. The proposed contract will have a 3-year extension, bringing the agreement to expire December 31st, 2028. This updated agreement has changes within, such as residential depot operations cost, with an increase from $905 to $925.99. Education and advertising has seen a decrease from previously $1 to now 35 cents. And lastly, all non-eligibles, so items from industrial, commercial, and institutions, which we call ICI, will no longer be accepted with residential recycling materials. With these updates to the agreement, this leaves the township with a few options of collecting ICI materials at the landfill site moving forward. With the collection of ICI materials needing to be separated from household materials, it leaves the township with a few options moving forward in 2026. Township currently has approximately 3% of our population being commercial, industrial, or institutional. So I guess the first option we discussed was reaching out to our current contractor, GFL, and our previous contractor, Miller Waste, on the cost of another 40-yard bin to be put at the landfill. Now, this bin would only be for commercial use, not residential. GFL never got back to us on a finalized quote or a haulage fee associated with an extra bin. Miller wanted $0 for the bin, but a 5-year contract and a $344.46 per load. So that'd be once a week, or $1,492.66 monthly. And that's plus tax and enviro fuel fee and a processing fee of $125 a month. Our second option, would be to no longer, I guess, accept commercial materials, put the onus back on to businesses in the township. And like I said in my report, I haven't finalized a couple numbers. I still have a couple companies to reach out to, Canor, and hopefully get a finalized number from GFL. So yeah, essentially moving forward, we're gonna have to pick some sort of option because the circular materials, the province has said that they're no longer allowing commercial recycling materials to be dropped off.
So if we didn't do a bin and if we put it back on the companies, would they be charged more than the rates that we're being offered? Like, I'm sure we're getting some preferred rates by Miller.
I don't believe so. I mean, I don't think we're getting any special treatment on a contract. The approximately $350 seems to be a going rate for a tipping fee.
And they wouldn't need a 40-yard bin either.
No, depending on the size of the business, right? Like so another option too that they did present is we could get totes. But the problem with totes is, as we stated earlier, about 3% of the businesses in town that, I mean, one business could fill a tote, right? So even if we had 5 totes, I don't think it would be feasible at the landfill.
it's the cardboard that takes up so much space.
Each business could go to, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, each business could get their own tote or even a 10-20 yard roll up.
But they need to make those arrangements themselves, and it goes to their place of business. It doesn't go to our landfill.
Yeah, that wouldn't be on the municipality, that would be back on the commercial businesses, I guess.
So the
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The rental of these bins
Yep,
would be to accommodate the commercial and industrial recycling.
correct, yeah,
Right.
so that's the price per bin. So if by some reason we needed more than one or needed it dumped more often, then the price would go up, but per dump is $3.44.46. So every time, say Miller had to come out and empty the bin, they charge us that approximately $350 each time.
So then what happens to those, to the recycles and that in those bins?
From the landfill, like
Yeah.
when the contractor picks it up, the contractor has to dispose of it. So Miller would take it to their plant and dispose of it.
Or GFL would take it up to their plant and sort it and dispose of it. So I mean,
It's essentially the finalized side of the operations, like the whole processing and everything is back on the contractors, being like GFL or Miller, but the pickup would still be technically on us if we had a bin at the landfill.
so
We're just providing the bin for the commercial.
Will we monitor that?
Yeah, so
Monitor
that
as well.
that's one of the other options, right? It would still be at our landfill site.
Yeah.
So it would just be a separate bin away from the other recycling bins, but it would only be for commercial use.
quick numbers, that's $18,000 to $20,000 a year that the municipality would have to pay for it. That's almost 1% on taxes.
If you do 4 of those.
It's not as wonderful as we thought. In
No, and we have no say over this. This is Ontario, the Ontario government's rules.
Yeah, they say that they're saving us over $171 million annually. Where is that money?
I wouldn't say that for this.
No, it's poorly laid at
I'll- To
implemented.
be completely honest, other than like landfill revenues for garbage, we're actually losing money when it comes to recycling, like paying staff and time and stuff like that.
Cause they were supposed to cover this, the wages, the cost of one staff member, and they're not even doing that.
No, and like I said in the report there, they've lowered, we used to get $1 for educational materials, now it's 35 cents. And then our fees went up about $25, $20, sorry. So,
And they haven't even given us educational material yet.
yeah, so when I spoke to Circular Materials, they said there's an online portal now. So, but once again, with anything online, where it costs for the paper, the printer ink,
But
staff time.
this has been rolled out for 3 to 4 years now. We were the last ones to transition,
Yeah,
like, and they still don't have it.
it's,
Together.
no, I mean, I think, a few of us were at the last Roma presentation when they touched on the recycling, and it kind of turned into an uproar at the end, right? Because everybody's in the same boat. Nobody's seeing anything productive out of it more than in-house municipal spending, right?
Right, and I mean, for small communities, this is hard because it's more cost to a business.
Right, and then I think the hardest, not the hardest part, but one of the bigger parts for our staff will be monitoring to make sure that commercial organizations are only using the one designated bin.
If we go that route,
Right, but that's another thing, right? Like if, it just gives our staff another task when they're at the landfill that we're not being paid for, right?
So we were one of the last municipalities to sign up during the first go around of onboarding. So other municipalities have renewed, like this is a renewed contract, is that correct?
So they say you have the option to renew, essentially, we're locked in.
No, I get that.
So-
So has other municipalities also signed that renewal previous to us because we were late onboarding? And is that part of their renewal, or is everybody renewing at the same time? Have they aligned? everybody?
So it's a 3-year contract extension across the board. So
everybody rolled into this because they had to. There's so many municipalities, so they had to stage it in,
Right.
but it's
Right
not.
now,
like
we're
we're-
all in the same
They
place.
started, yeah, they essentially started down south and started moving.
So
And there was, in July and September, I believe, there were a lot of discussions with circular materials and the province, because we've all passed those resolutions to say that we wanted the ICI to be included in the program. So they just made that decision, I want to say at the beginning of September, they made the decision that they're not including them. So up until then, I think a lot of people have waited to sign because we're waiting to see what's gonna happen with that. So now that we officially have the letter to know that they're not included in the ICIs, they did there's a group that you can, like a working group that you attend, and every municipality answers the questions or asks the questions. And then we hope we get an answer for within the next 2 weeks. So I think there was about 200 the last one that I was on, and they really talked about the ICIs. So I don't think a lot of people have made decisions on exactly what they're going to do. Some have and said that, like, this is not for us. The province has said that they're not included in the commercial or on their own, or the other option is what we're, in the options that we had in here was to put a bin in your landfill site. And that they call that the blended, so that they would come in and haul that, but we are responsible, the township would be responsible for that.
So walk me through a business is on their own, so we can choose, if we choose not to put a bin
Mhm.
for commercial. Or industrial.
Yeah.
And we say they're on their own, what is it? How does
So it'd be
it
like
do
a
that?
Canor, so for us, let's say we have 10 big businesses. So Canor could come and put a tote or a bin in each of those businesses, and then they would say, like, every Tuesday, they would come around and empty all the bins at the same
Or
time.
They have to do it themselves. They would have to make
That
the,
fee would be back on the business, and it would be up to the business to
All the-
schedule the tipping.
to pay and to do everything. We would be out of it completely.
Yeah, the township's
Right.
not involved, that's the way.
Yeah,
Perhaps we could sit, if that was a route you wanted to explore, we could sit with all the business owners and whoever comes back from the quotes that were asked for and who's the lowest bid, just to facilitate the conversation. We could certainly work to get that done, to say, so these are the companies, here's the quotes that we have, and here are your options on how you want to do that moving forward, because obviously it's the drive time and to come and get it, so if they did everybody the same. It just depends, because every business is going to want to be different
I
when they
think
get
it-
their pickup.
I think it's gonna be important to consult with the businesses.
Yes.
Instead of sitting here without full context of running a business, understanding what would work best for them. It would be interesting, I would be interested in hearing what the businesses have to say. And again, this just feels like somebody in Toronto that has a very small area to pick up, makes a ton of sense. Okay, you're on your own, and then the pickup fee is easy, where, Miller is not right beside us, so it's putting small northern rural municipalities once again at a disadvantage. Like our businesses aren't already facing an uphill battle, so I think we should be communicating that to the province as well, that from the and maybe it's through one of the associations we're part of or whatever, but yeah, I think it's unfortunate for our businesses.
Cause talking to Circular Materials, they mentioned like we could have a separate drop off location, say, right? So I've been at the office, but that being said, how do we monitor who's using the bin, right?
And the garbage that'll be, the recycling that'll be spread all around for people not hitting it or.
Yeah, of course. Like in North, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that, I don't think it was well thought out
No,
when we started in April. And then you go in midstream, you start changing for the people. And that's why it makes it more difficult for us, because we think it's going to be one way and now it's something else. And then, so it makes it difficult to say, well, we can work with you guys, but then we change midstream. And I think they should have thought about it before, maybe before we started. I thought it was going to be much easier than what it is, but
I think in a bigger city with a higher density of population, if you're looking for like the contractor side of things, the revenue would be crazy for them because of how many businesses they say jammed in a 1 block space, right?
right.
Whereas here, we've probably got 10 businesses, give or take, right?
Right.
So it makes it a lot harder. And they're not close, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they'll be burning a half a day to go
It's a
down
day.
Bond Field.
They get 35 minutes to run the.
Thing, they're just gonna charge us 3%.
Correct.
That, so that, because that is based on what they feel our ICIs are, 3% of
Is
whatever.
what we gave them from our impact.
3% of what?
Our
Yeah.
population.
No, but
no,
money
so-
wise,
Oh,
how, what does 3% turn
Of
into?
their pickup,
Oh.
like what is the 3% on? The money
not
that
sure
they're
what that was.
charging us?
the only, yeah,
Well-
because that was never answered in our.
Right, what number are they
The
charging?
only thing I can base it off right now is our residential depot operations cost, right?
Which is
It's going up to $926
per,
per month.
okay, so if you did that annually. And then 3% of that, what is the cost? Is that
Do that.
the math? That doesn't sound right.
$10,778.
Yeah, the way I figured
That's
it
a
out,
year.
that was 20,000,
Yeah.
$18,000.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's two different numbers right there.
okay,
And
so-
way off.
Yeah,
Like
way off.
$10,000
Because,
difference.
yeah, cause I would do nothing and just pay the 10 grand, right? That's, seems okay to me.
Yeah,
Well,
if you take
but
926.
That's still,
I know, but
why,
that's,
why,
I don't, they wouldn't renew a contract if we don't have a plan.
Right.
We have to come up with a plan. We have to make the decision what's gonna happen with ICI.
So if, I'm sorry,
that's okay. Doing nothing is not an option.
No.
Go ahead.
so if we explored the option of putting a bin at the landfill, that business could explore. What are our options for cost recovery on that? Not a profit,
There
right?
isn't any. There's none on the municipality side. It's totally out of our hands.
So we can't. There's no levy we can put on to a business,
There's a-
and I mean, it's
there's a-
$900.
So there's your producer responsibility, right? But that goes back on the people that make the products.
go ahead, Steve.
And we could, sorry,
Could we not do a business license? For your business license that gets on whatever their info in the newsletter on the website and pays for that, like.
How do we know how much recycling they're producing? I mean, each business is gonna produce a different amount.
That's why I'd like to figure it out where we still handle it, because I feel bad for small businesses that literally have a couple of recycling bins, right? Like, what are those businesses gonna do?
The other part too, just to touch on, is like the township itself is classified under a
Correct.
business.
So what would we be paying,
School,
right?
school,
No, no,
churches,
Yeah. Schools,
Uh,
churches,
our
community
parks
centers,
not
Yeah.
covered.
so
So I mean,
it's a lot.
So yeah, so how much recycling does the township have?
we don't know.
we don't know.
We don't,
We-
we can't tell you a tonnage. Like, I can tell you approximately how many bags a week.
Yeah, that's
Through
what,
public
that's
works.
kind of, that's what I'm
But
looking
that's,
for.
like, where you'd be, like, it's not a little bit.
No,
An
But it's
an 8 yard bin, how long do you think it would take you to fill? Like the ones that they put the arms
Yeah.
in?
Probably the 2 weeks. I'd
the
say with,
township?
well,
Yeah.
when the parks are open, and then we've got the office, and then we've got public works.
And then you have
Right.
And then
The
fire
hospital,
department, the medical
medical
center,
center.
Yeah.
right? So,
I assume there's businesses just practically that would be bigger consumers of recycling, so.
to them, that's nothing, right? Because in the end, I think a small fee, they get the garbage picked up anyways, that they pay, right? So if you
Yeah.
have a business with a bin of that, and then they just have it as a tax write-off, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, just to the point of like, if we looked at doing a business license or something, challenges, somebody like, and I don't know this for sure, but if Sanson's is like, all of their new equipment comes in big boxes of
Mhm.
whatever, they would have lots of recycling, then there'd be other businesses that would have very little recycling, so us trying to parse out something to say, everybody's paying
Yeah.
this amount.
Yeah, that's
is
Yeah, 'cause
we'd
I-
be getting.
I know just from
Terrible.
personal experience at the landfill, like one of the businesses in town that does recycle a lot, and they do a good job of recycling and separating their stuff, but they do have a high volume in the summer, is the Sunnyside Campground,
Sure.
right? So they've got quite a bit of recycling, so.
But then how do you charge him year round when he's only open in the
Open
summer?
season, right? So
So you could do a user fee, like we can put that part of the, we know the cost, except for we don't know how much tonnage is an ICI. But again, we don't have a scale to be able to tell
No.
that this business is this much and this business. is
the
that.
problems do with the bins is depending on what materials in it, right? Whether it be cans or glass or recycling. Now that it's all mixed, your weights are all different. So
And just look with a mixed load, especially with cardboard. how
Yeah,
fast the bins fill in the weekend.
yeah, especially if you get, say somebody buys a TV, right? How big the boxes are, or a dishwasher. Right, that stuff doesn't break down very easy. So.
Are they people flattening them out or are they bringing full boxes?
No, they're like, I will give it to the residents. They have been doing a great job at the landfill to go in. They've been using the side doors so we can pack everything as tight as possible.
I mean, I think the residents really got on board. I thought every time I go, the recycling looks.
Well, and even too, when we had everything separated before, right? Like that was a big thing and everybody followed it. We
Yeah.
really had no issues with that. So
So yeah, it's a tough one because, I mean, you put $18,000 in all the rest of the taxpayers.
No, and I'd be interested to hear from the business, but sitting back and only this, like if we're just strictly looking at a municipal side of this and not looking to support our businesses anyway, so I don't know where we go with that, but from a municipal standpoint, is almost my thought is let's stay out of that. Like, let's not engage at all. Let's just allow businesses to figure out their own recycling, and then if they're not happy, then call the province. Like, we have
Circular material,
nothing to
right.
do with it.
yeah,
Now, I don't know if we have a leadership role to take in this and if there's something that we need to be exploring, so I say that. You know, that's the cheapest way and the easiest way for the municipality to stay out of the fray and to not get blamed for it is to say we have nothing to do with it. I just don't know that that's best for business, so I'd be interested to hear. How the options be.
And what all the other municipalities around us are doing
Absolutely.
as well.
I've been trying to put it this way.
Go ahead, Derek.
This comes at a bad time.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is when we're trying to promote economic development
Yes,
and we've got
yes.
everybody doing interviews and.
Yeah.
And now we have to go after the businesses again.
Yeah.
Not,
Again, not us.
yeah,
It's not us.
We're
And
getting
it's-
blamed for it.
I will be honest with you, like our staff that are at the landfill have been great to reiterate the fact that, you know, it's not the municipality, it's the province. And most people, I will say, have been understanding about it. I know they're not happy, but they,
Yeah.
like Jason said, right? Like our hands are tied with this. It's one option or the other. So,
Yeah, it's like, here's the rule, here it is, you guys deal with it.
yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, it puts us in a bad spot.
I mean, my company in North Bay, where I work, we have a bin, we have a recycling bin and a garbage bin. I have to pay to get it picked up, no one does it, and
Good.
they'll lock it so that other people don't fill it, and maybe it is just the cost of doing business.
Maybe there's a hybrid where we can cost share. I don't know, you know, like maybe,
Municipal incinerator.
I
but
thought that's what those big cubic.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, yeah. Going back to just the incinerator joke. None of that material belongs to us anymore, so we can't even take cardboard and burn it.
Yeah.
right, right. But what if the organizations have to do their own thing, but we try to give them a break on something else? Like if they, right, we cost share. So, and then we can do it based on how much they are actually spending for pickup, because it's gonna be different for all of them, right?
Like a rate base.
So, yeah, so we give them a percentage rebate maybe
From what though?
from so they're gonna know what their expense is once they,
Like their bin cost.
their bin cost, their pickup cost or whatever, and then we give them a tax rebate on that.
I have to check into the
Yeah, I don't
municipal
think-
act,
yeah.
because I think it's section 106, we cannot bonus a business.
Okay.
So I'd have to look at what that framework might look like.
Okay.
I think if we're gonna do any sort of hybrid, and lots of thought has to go into
Yes,
this, it
yeah,
would be.
yeah.
Businesses can opt in or out of what would be a levy or a whatever, and then they would have access and a special card to be able to do their commercial. Or they don't have to pay that and they can go and just do their own bin, make their own arrangement, do their own.
Well, that was discussed about the landfill as well, giving the businesses a separate card, right,
Right.
to use. Essentially, all it would do is show that they're a business.
But they won't need a separate card really, because they're coming in Saturday. for recycling. I
No,
guess.
that's
Yeah,
just for
that's
recycling,
okay.
right? Garbage aside, this is just the recycling, right? So we've
Yeah.
got one extra bin off to the side.
So when that car comes in,
So
we
when-
showed a blue
Yeah,
car.
they- okay,
they get to
here,
go,
so-
right,
We'll know that they opted in and we are somehow, it's a business
So that's just
license
a,
fee or whatever.
that's a
we call
lot
it.
for, I mean, again,
But once
put
again,
more on staff.
we're paying for the cards, we're.
Yeah, and also you
I
don't know,
understand.
I could come in with it and fill the bin. What if I come in?
And I will,
this
like,
property,
this,
fill the bin
this has happened in the past though, on a Saturday, right? We've had a business come in
and
and,
fill the bin.
and fill the bin.
I've
And
seen it.
everyone else is going, what's going on?
Yeah.
And we're saying, well, they're entitled to use it just like you guys are. And then now they've, they've changed it, right? So it's,
I've seen it with cardboard.
yeah,
It just comes in on a Saturday and it like literally fills the bin.
trailer.
Yeah.
So,
So it's been about 3 weeks since I did the last, it's been about 3 weeks since I did the last workshop, the last meeting with all the municipalities, so I could do a survey just to see if. What people have decided between then and now. At the same time, we could set up a meeting so we could have a conversation with all business owners.
I think
So
your
we should-
survey should stick to the rural though, not,
Okay.
not city.
cause I have, like,
Oh, yeah,
I have
Yes,
talked with
yeah.
North Bay quite a bit too, their environmental manager, about mostly garbage and recycling. But once again, they've got so many businesses, it seems like their businesses, like Steve and Jason were saying, just have their own bin, right? They're used to this cost,
Yeah.
where I think that's the only fear, I think, from the municipal side is once again, putting more onus on a business owner, right? But is that the cost of doing business now? I don't know, cause I don't know my own business, right?
And that just gets past the consumer, like, and that's, I'm sure that's why they look at circular material and they say,
it's the whole framework.
well, absolutely, it'll just end up going to the consumer, then the consumer over time will say. Look at, we want less packaging, we want less people. But I mean, that's like the pie in the sky big think for sure, but.
I also believe that, again, we are trying to build our economic development. And that, I think that taxpayers here, for the businesses that we have, they use, right? So I would pay for it. I don't mind if it is on the tax base because I'm using the businesses that are here and I want the businesses to stay here.
I mean,
I mean,
fair
there's
enough,
two
but
sides,
that's
right?
you. I mean,
That's me,
how
yeah.
many people will feel that way?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there is a piece of whether this works into the bigger business, retention, expansion.
Mhm.
Retention is good, of course, but if we're looking at business expansion as BRNE. Is this part of their incentive package for businesses to wanna come to Bonfield we'll save you the couple $100
Yeah.
on recycling, it's not like the biggest help, but if it's part of a bigger package, then.
Yeah.
Then maybe that sets us apart from other municipalities in a competitive world, right?
Not just a couple hundred, if it's $350 a week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
talking,
in every week.
that's 18 grand a year. If it's only 4 pickups a
A
month.
month, yeah. So that's what the monthly fee
It-
for minimum,
At
like,
the end of the year, it adds up.
No, I'm, and maybe there's a discounted, we do a license fee, we do something, like, I don't know if it has to be super cut and dry. I also don't know if it's a great idea that we get all the way into the weeds on this, so I'm, as you can tell, I haven't fully formulated my
Right.
thoughts on this, but. Like, I do wanna, if we can use that as a competitive advantage, that would be impactful to boost economic development here in Bonfield, great. But we need to walk that through, what that looks like, how much that is. You know, if the
Yeah, we
headaches
don't
aren't
have
worth it.
numbers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If it's like 18 or 20 grand a year for the municipality to do it, it's probably 30 or 40 grand a year for all the businesses to do their own.
Individually.
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean,
They're probably not getting.
they're getting smaller
maybe
bins.
One pickup.
One business will only fill it once every 3 months. Maybe another business will fill it once a month.
so like Dane said, if they all get, say,
8 yard,
8-10 yard bins, right? Then they just send one truck, dumps.
and they
in
can
the
do
truck,
multiple
they can do multiple
businesses.
business, Right? Whereas ours are roll off bins, so they need one at a time on the truck. So,
And there is companies that don't actually charge you for the bin rental, they only charge you for the tipping, right? So
Right.
they,
Or they're gonna just charge you, like, I don't know how that works, if there's a charge. I can't see them charging for the recycling because that's the whole point of this. It's just for the bins and the,
So it's for the bin,
the-
essentially it's the bin rental and the tipping fee is what GFL said.
This is the only option that the businesses have. Is if we rent this, if we rent the,
Unless they go on their own, say, right? Like
so
there's,
if they're not going to pay that much month.
well, I don't think that's what we were just saying. I don't think it would be that much a month because you can.
Get a smaller
get a
bin.
Smaller bin.
this is a big 40-yard bin, like a big one.
But they still have to come and pick the bins up,
But
right?
if they do the smaller ones, they could pick multiple places up at once. It's not one trip, one bin. It's one trip, 10 bins.
That's assuming they all go with the same provider.
Yeah, so they would have to coordinate that. There were.
And yeah,
that's-
I mean, that's why we
Facilitate
could help
that,
facilitate something, but
I think we
What
did,
a mess.
yes.
it's a mess. It's just
It
thrown
is
in
a
our,
mess.
in our lap.
And it's all,
And it was like 3 months.
yeah, yeah.
So what do you need from council or from the committee tonight? This a conversation piece? Do you need?
$2,000.
We needed just the conversation. What are we open to? What are we not open to? So we can go do the survey, we can have discussions, we can try to have a meeting with all of the business owners that this will impact, or the major ones, because it impacts everybody,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
how do you get them all to our rooms? We'll have to try to figure that out.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that's probably better.
yeah. So we'll have to come back in November, but that it's kind of our campaign time to tell them the education piece, right?
Right.
To say like, this is coming, we're trying to find a solution, what will work.
And if we say nothing to the businesses, is it only up to us to communicate with the businesses, or will Circular Materials
So
eventually do
technically,
that?
no, so technically, that's why we get paid the 35 cents.
We get all the headaches for 30%.
It's for the educational side of things, right? So
What that is, the moment we're the ones doing the communication out,
Yeah,
We own the
people look-
problem.
it's
the deal-
our problem.
we
no
know
problem.
it,
Even though we're communicating somebody else's message, we
Yeah,
can.
Right.
yeah.
They give you the message.
Yeah.
But we have.
Quite brilliant on behalf of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no return.
yeah.
We have a really hard time communicating with Circular Material, so
Oh.
a business owner is never gonna be,
Oh,
Pay them
God.
35 cents every time we get a call back.
yeah.
I mean, let's just say it hasn't been a positive experience with them.
Right.
Mm-mm. So I think we have enough that we can come back with something for November.
Right.
I think we have to think about this.
Mhm.
You never breathe easy. I thought, well, when we got rid of that, the recyclables, and everything was just free.
Well, we knew this was coming though, right? Because well,
Well,
they said this was never.
yeah, but they, I
included.
will be honest, they kind of sold it on producer responsibility, right? So producer, now it's kind of switched to business responsibility, which
Right.
I guess is in that middle ground, but still. I
They're not
don't
the
see-
producers.
The producer's not the one.
No,
Right.
but the ICIs were never
Never,
included,
never.
right from the beginning,
Right.
right? They said right from the beginning that they were never included.
And
Right.
right from the beginning, they said it's up to businesses to take
Yeah.
care of their own.
But they didn't message that and they allowed us to
Right.
to include them.
They tiptoed around it.
Yeah, they did.
They-
Easier if we had the Skidoo manufacturer in Bonneville, and I put these along crates as opposed to the Skidoo dealer that's
Yeah.
gonna end up paying to have to
Yeah.
recycle
Right.
the cardboard that got wrapped, like,
And you really
Yeah.
think if they reach out to Skidoo, say,
yeah,
Skidoo's
hey,
gonna
will you
say,
help
"Hey,
us
you
with
know
this
what?
cost?
let
Yeah.
me sign that check.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, we ordered 12 kayaks, I think, after the fire. Like 6 years ago, and it was a transport truck that showed up, a full-size transport truck to deliver 12 kayaks. I can fit 12 kayaks in my little truck. And we were unboxing it, they were all wrapped with like all this cellophane and boxes and whatever. And it took us 4 trips, I think, to the landfill.
We back charge for that?
Just for, that's the kayaks.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
crazy how people
Well,
ship stuff.
And think, just even the liquor store, how many boxes they get a week?
Mhm.
Or the store now that they've got alcohol sales and stuff like that,
Right.
everything comes in wrap pallets, right? So. There's a lot that, you dive down the rabbit hole and
There's a
it's a
lot.
lot bigger than you think.
All right. Great. All right, well, move on. The land policy update.
excess soil?
Oh. So essentially they've given us a 2-year extension. To move forward with the new policy because I think there's been quite a bit of uproar.
Fishbowl?
Yeah, so essentially the way I read it was everything and anything roadside is now classified contaminated. So that being said, where you dispose of anything contaminated would be a landfill site, which would take up
All the space.
all the, yeah, all the space, especially, right? So say we do a kilometer or 2 kilometers of ditching, there's 20 loads, right? What do you do with that 20 loads if we're not able to dump it where we want, right?
Crown land.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No letter comes in.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe I've seen something, or you can get the soil, like soil
Tested, but that's still, right?
I know it's a cost.
Yeah,
And you put, if the homeowner wants it, you put it back on the cost back on them.
right. And I think as we were talking about in the past, like just having a contract, just to say like if the soil comes back contaminated, but you've already accepted it, like we're not liable. Which 99% of homeowners in the area just want the fill, so they're not worried about it.
And
But if this comes through, once again,
it's just more planning. It would be more planning on.
we're gonna
like,
have to find somewhere that we're, I guess, legal to store contaminated excess soil from stuff like a ditching project, right?
Yeah, I mean, but
And then what do we do?
we use
Stop
2%
ditching?
salt.
Yeah,
So it's not like,
but so there, when I was talking to them, they mentioned, because I said about roadside sand, right? Somebody mentioned
It's-
about recycling it. And they said, no, that's definitely a no-no, right?
It's considered contaminated.
Considered contaminated. So the only real way, like you said, Dan, I think is, yeah, you test the
Test it.
soil.
well, I
but-
mean, if Alex is gonna do this 3 kilometer stretch, he goes and has soil sampled every 100 meters. And then ahead of the project, and then if
So then we know it's clean.
if it's
soil.
clean, you got paperwork to give to the people and you keep it in your records, they sign off, they took the fill.
Right, they accepted it, it's
Right.
their property now.
Like the landfill can't sustain taking roadside ditching, especially now that we're doing it.
No,
Mhm.
right,
It's a backload.
Yeah, so I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of loads,
yeah, yeah. I know.
thousands.
We would need a separate site
Yes.
that we would gate, but give everybody a key.
Yeah, I mean, I
What
think
does testing cost?
Depends who you go
'Cause
through.
you would have
Because I know when we go through like all the insurance jobs in town, they have to get their stuff tested through a engineering firm.
yeah, like
So-
Englobe would come out. We
Yeah.
can't even do the testing.
Right, yeah.
Englobe has to come out and
Take the sample themselves.
right. Alex would
Bring it.
have to say, I want,
Yeah, yeah.
this tested.
And
Yeah.
then go
And
back.
just for the bridge project, it was 13,000.
Oh,
But I don't think I did.
Expand that now, yeah.
A soil like for
Analysis.
every.
Yeah, but that's that's
Well,
analysis
That's a
saying
TCLP. right?
yeah.
Compaction.
Compaction. load bearing. If you're just testing for contaminant, it's not bad.
no.
Just like
Yeah, that's
random
good.
testing.
Your TCLP analysis is what the,
Project.
So, and it's the province that's making us do this?
Again,
Yes, yeah, it's the province. We are creatures of the province.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, I think it's ridiculous because I mean, we have a big area and we couldn't, if we wanted to had to truck everything back from the far end of the township, we would get 10 loads of ditching in a day.
right, and that's where the residents have actually helped us out
Sure,
a bunch, right? Because
Country people always take fill.
people are asking left, right, and center for any kind of fill they could get,
Yeah.
anytime we do ditching and stuff like that, right?
We just
And
need
it's
to
kind
make
of-
sure that they know.
Well, and it's kind of come to a halt when we were reviewing this policy. It was kind of one of those like, okay, let's put the brakes on.
Yeah.
And then now they've extended it, which is great, but what's gonna happen in 2 years?
We
Yeah.
have to have a plan for 2 years.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
think ditching can get done in 2 years.
how much ditching do you want to get?
Yeah.
the whole township, all of it.
I am not making that.
Not doing
promise.
it.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is something for us to think about too then.
We got 2 years to buy in, we'll come up with a contract
Mhm.
program for sure
Mhm.
on
And
what
I
that looks
think-
like.
Most people, if we put out that we're ditching this section.
Oh, the calls just come in, like,
Right, but, and just say, okay, if you're getting the material, you need to cover, you have to cover the
Provide a
cost.
paper.
right,
Let's just say.
It's gonna be cheaper.
One load of fill is worth $300.
Yeah.
So if you're getting 20 or 30 loads for $300,
yeah,
you're
it's,
doing well.
it's minimal compared to what it costs to actually buy. A
Fill.
load of fill, right?
So even to give it away, we need to be tested?
Technically, yeah,
In 2 years.
Could they sign a waiver?
But they still need to be tested.
but it still needs tested
Exactly.
legally, right? So that's where the problem
Our
lies.
lawyer wouldn't be happy with just a waiver.
It's just a
The
waiver.
problem's not giving it away, the problem is the legality
Yeah.
behind it, right?
The cons-
Yeah, and I mean, we do wanna make sure everybody's covered, right?
Right.
So,
So yeah, I mean, like you said, it would just be simple. Whether, okay, let's just use development as an example. We're ditching development. Anybody's interested in fill, put your name at the office. And you know, we'll designate 20 loads to this person, but the testing has to be covered by the people.
yeah, by whatever.
So we
Paper
would
service.
need to test it regardless.
No,
No.
going to the landfill, no.
Going to the landfill.
Oh, I don't, would we ever bring it to the landfill unless it's
No.
actually committed, right? I mean,
Personally, I think
oh,
that's a horrible idea.
Some I'll bring mine, some to the landfill for cover, but
Oh,
we
cover,
don't
sure.
use that
Not
much
you.
cover.
No. We've been more worried about compaction as of lately, so.
Right, so I mean, it's best to give it to the residents.
So, yeah, I'm sure when we get closer, it's 2 years away, but it could be, you know, hey, it's X number of dollars per load, and even if we're offsetting. Like most of the testing costs
Yeah.
or whatever, like instead of.
Sure, you just wanna get your testing costs covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because essentially the haulage is happening anyway.
And even if it's just
Yeah.
most of it,
And the
because
work.
we have a component of we need to test soil, so we don't have to bring it to
Yeah,
the landfill, right? So.
Okay, so far,
So far, Alex is always good news.
liking any of it.
Okay,
Wrong with buying X.
C levels, yeah, we buy an excavator, levels of service.
Okay, so for the asset management plan, part of that process is, we have to identify our levels of service. You have some samples in your package and there's a whole bunch of new ones. As well, so I sent an Excel spreadsheet to all of you. I'll resend that to you, cause, there's more in here, so.
a lot more.
And there's a lot more to come because we've been focusing on the public works, because we have to put a cost to these levels of services. So we're putting the level of service as per our cost today, what we're doing today. So then we'll do this as well for each of the other departments. So in the fire department, in our admin departments as well, we will have levels of service. We're only gonna have a few in admin and building and planning, but we'll still attach some of that because these are the services we provide. So basically we go through, you know, the asset is, we go through the objectives of why we provide this service. So for the first one that I have is the bridges and culverts, more than 3 meters. So the objectives are to ensure safe, vehicle and pedestrian passage, to comply with Ontario Reg 23902. You'll see that in most of the levels of service for public works, because that is what dictates our level. We exceed those levels, but those are the minimums that we have to do. And then to protect the public investment in all the bridge structures. Our technical is like, what are we doing to do this? So the bridge decks for all and bridge deck surfaces shall be repaired in accordance with the regulations. All bridges will be inspected every second year by an engineer to ensure, I've corrected all the spelling mistakes. Compliance, approach roads to bridges will be properly maintained to reduce any unnecessary impact on the bridge. So these are the things that we do. This is general maintenance, but this is why we do it. And then there's the qualitative. So bridges are just as described in so qualitative is more, where are they located? What do they look like? And we have that in the report that we get every 2 years as well, as well with the age of the bridge. And then another section I put in was the metrics. So how are we measuring our asset and the level of service? And, you know, so we have to set our indicators and then measure against those over a year, over a time period. So we can see if we're actually improving or not improving from the asset management plan. So some of them for the bridge would be the bridge index, which is above 60. So we do have bridges like Trunk Road Bridge that's being replaced right now. I believe it's got a conditioning index of 37. So we're not at that 60, but this is our goal. We have to set it so we know that the Trunk Road Bridge was the first one that needed to be done. But that's what sets the asset management plan so that we're actually replacing what needs to be replaced at the right time. So we're not just making decisions willy-nilly.
And the
Willy-nilly.
index is indicated through the inspection report, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's what we're looking at, is this report to determine what gets done next.
So, yeah,
Yes.
it's our bridges and culverts.
Yeah,
study for
yeah.
that,
It
And then
disproves the evidence.
for our roads would be our roads need study, right? So
So you're transposing a lot of information from one. And then, are you naming each one?
In the
In the
asset
asset,
management
yeah.
plan and in the bridge report, yes, they're named in
Okay.
each one. So this is just the level of service as a general. This is
Yeah,
bridge level of service.
So hopefully, once you get, so all of that information is already inputted then?
That information is inputted. So
Okay.
now we're just going through the levels of service.
Okay,
for us here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of like a broad.
yeah. So I just, so there's like a lot of one-time work and then ongoing, it's just going to be reviewing and then moving things up as we go and then
Yes.
back to the bottom of the
And
pile.
I think
Yeah, that's a plan.
on that point, I don't think it would be bad to even list online or on our website or something, a copy of the MMS.
Yeah,
Because I know there was a bit of uproar about some potholes being filled on the bridge deck, even though the bridge is being replaced. Now, it might seem like this is pointless, but when you relate back to MMS, right? Like those holes are over a size or a depth.
right,
And
right,
for so long, they need to be filled by law, right? So it's not like we're just trying to throw money away.
Right.
There's actually a method to the madness.
Yeah.
We're following the rules that we
Yeah,
have.
and the frustrating part is, I mean, people comment to that and they have no clue. Like,
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah,
we-
we
and
put it
like,
on the
I urge anybody if they want to reach out and
Yeah,
I know in the winter time, we get a lot of calls regarding levels of
People don't
service.
like when you suggest to reach out.
yeah.
Why? Okay, don't reach out.
Not just,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's rules that are followed, whether people like it or not. Stuff has to be filled,
But your levels of service for plowing, right? Like
Yeah.
how much snow is allowed accumulation on the road? How much time we have to plow it from the last snowfall,
Yeah,
okay.
right? That's
yeah,
the
and-
biggest thing that people forget is till that snow stops, right? That timer doesn't start running.
right.
Right, so we're on class 5 roads, and how long is it? 10 centimeters or 24 hours
Yeah.
before he has to touch a road? I mean,
Which we don't
you
do.
exceed that, but
Yeah, of course.
I'm just
But
saying.
that is the standard set out,
Yeah.
right? So
But
I
the-
think if the residents had a copy or were able to look up.
Just because the bridge looks like it's safe and can go over, we have a study that says, no, how long ago should we have done Trunk Road?
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years ago, this should have been done, so it's.
so it leads to my, well, we'll seem like facetious question, but I don't, well, I do mean it as facetious. But, like, we have an infrastructure deficit,
Yes.
as does every other municipality, but like, we have a significant infrastructure deficit of our list of must-dos far outweigh our list of financial resources.
Yes.
So are we not just playing around the margins of like, go ahead and pick off the list, because it's, everything's critical at this point, right? So,
Well, no, we
It's
might
not
have had a
like-
9-year bridge and a 10-year bridge,
Yeah.
right? So we're gonna do the
yeah,
10-year
of
one,
course.
and then the 9-year one moves up next.
We have
No,
3 urgent bridges
get
out of
that.
the 9 that we have, right? So,
Yeah.
I get that.
yeah.
I get that. From a council perspective,
Right.
like, we don't have a lot of latitude to say, oh yeah, let's play.
I mean,
Never
No.
mind, yeah, we have none, because it's
Yeah.
like, here's the list of critical
Yeah.
must-dos. And when we exhaust the money, oh, there's none left, so there's no like pet projects to do anywhere,
No,
so
no,
that's what
No,
we'll
No,
need
Oh,
to.
wait, we've exhausted the money with that storm in the spring.
Alright, yeah, that too. So it's. Yes, asset management is great, but it's almost dictated to us just based off engineering study.
Right. It's
One
not,
engineering
right.
study will tell us, yes, now some bridges I get will deteriorate faster in the next couple of years and all of that kind of stuff, a little shuffle, but.
Well, it's no different than our roads need study, right? We used all the PCI index for the lowest roads, and that's where we started our gravel program, right?
And
So, but like you said, yeah, it costs money. It's not.
Yeah,
and sometimes the public works manager sees more than the engineers do because they're on the roads every day.
Spoken like a true public. Okay.
so this, I think it's worth mentioning that the asset management plan is brought to you by the province.
Yes.
And that
What a role, eh?
this is something that the province has mandated it that we do.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing, though. It's,
No,
and
no.
again, it's,
It's good fitness.
It helps you
is.
keep on top of it.
it is,
And
yes.
make sure that stuff can't.
And right now, it's short-term pain for long-term gain.
Yeah.
Because we've got it's a bunch of work at the, here now, but then hopefully it's just monitoring and adding, right?
I think to Alex's point, communication is gonna be what's
Yes.
key to having this be a success within our municipality or any municipality is. Look at, here is the challenges and here's, you know, the order that is set currently based off of need, it's not a want.
Or we can do more, we'll jump the taxes up 20%.
Well, that's it, right?
So
So.
what level of service are you happy with?
Right.
Even like a project like we just did, right? The target chip on Pine Lake Hill and that section of development. I will say that the residents, from my feedback I've received, right, they've been nothing but happy about the finished product. Now moving forward, would they like to see the rest of the road done? 100%. But the cost associated with finishing that whole road in one shot,
No,
we can't afford it.
No.
Right? It's just not doable.
And there's many other roads.
Well, exactly, right?
Yes.
So it's not the only.
And the other thing is, the roads we do chip sealing,
we're
we have
supposed
to go
do
back and
coat.
seal
Yeah.
it.
We have to do another coat.
And that's what the asset management plan is, so it tells us what we have to do for the maintenance, so we're already factoring in that. You know, there's a sealant that has to be done, and then after that sealant, you have to do, I think it's like 2,
Seven.
5, 8
Yeah,
years. But the life of it is still only, what, 10? 8 to 10
Yeah,
years?
for
Yeah.
a double surface treatment.
Yeah, but if you're sealing it,
But,
you know,
but yeah, you're essentially adding life onto
Not
it,
in
right? But
Bonfil, it's about 40 years.
We're trying to stop doing that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So by
yeah.
the time that it comes to be that we need to redo the road, we're still fixing our deficits, so we actually haven't saved for doing this
No.
the new, right? For correcting what we're fixing now, so
Well,
that's why the asset
yeah.
management is really important. In getting the levels of service on board so that we know where we're putting things and why we're doing it.
Yeah.
So
I think it's critical work.
Yeah.
My point is, unfortunately, it's not gonna be, oh, let's prioritize some
Right.
things more than what's already gonna be dictated to us. Not for a very, very, very long time
No.
anyways. So again, it just
Gotta
comes down
start
to,
somewhere.
yeah, but it comes down to the communication so that people understand.
Go ahead.
So the fact that, and it was, not a good thing, it was a bad thing at the time. But on some of the roads, the replacements of the culverts and, Talon Lake Road,
Yeah.
McNutt. That is beneficial to us when taking into consideration for the asset management.
yes, so we've put that all in a spreadsheet, which will go into the asset management.
Okay.
So that, but we don't even, like, the one that's on culverts, and I think, I'm not sure if that's what you guys got, we don't even have an inventory of where all the culverts are.
so we've got, like our CGIS system that's on the computer, like the online system that we use here in the office. There's 25% of our overall culverts marked in the system, but the lengths, diameters, conditions aren't in there. It just says there's a culvert here. So we still have to go out, inspect it, measure it, right? So I know we were talking, I think earlier last week, about having everything actually measured and finalized, put into the system. Obviously, it'll take time, right? But as long as we have that database of information, then it's okay, this culvert failed. We just need an 18-inch, you know what I mean, culvert.
Is that work that has to, specific training to be able to do that? Is that public works crew that can do
No,
that?
we can do it in.
I have-
we
It can also be like an intern or a summer student. with-
Across the summer student or anything.
Yeah.
High school kid with a bike and measuring tape.
But I have, like,
Being a summer student.
I have a GPS that'll go on top of my truck and I can sit over top the culvert, input all the information and it boom.
Yeah.
So we have a
Yeah.
handheld,
Hmm.
like a
Yeah,
a point.
I had that, but it died.
Even
so.
better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We have
anyways,
the tools, it just has to be done.
just find time to do it.
Yeah, much like the
Person
fire
power.
department has to do an inventory, we still have to do these inventories too, but. It's all part of the bigger plan for the asset management. So levels of service does need to be adopted by council, so I'll send you a spreadsheet. You guys can go through if there's any metrics that you see that would be good. I mean, these are just for the levels of service, so it's not dictating what we're working on, just. The levels of service so that we can prioritize everything together. But we've done this basically based because we know the culvert and the roads need study.
Right.
If
All right, everybody good on that one? Budget report or budget dictation? Discussion?
So I sent everyone an updated budget as of September 30th. I did that in Excel spreadsheet too. It goes with the asset management. It goes with our work plan for 2026. So we are sitting down the first week of November to go through what 2026 is going to look like for our work plan. And then we'll be translating that from departments into a budget, our wish list budget. But we're really hopeful that council can give us some indication on what number you're looking for as a percentage. So is that
2%.
2? Is that 3?
Well,
Is that
we need to
the
discuss the work first.
right? So is and this is another, like a lot of this meeting today is just please take this and go back and think. But in November, we'll have had the meeting and we'll be starting to work on that 2026 budget. So if there are things that we want to get done, we need to know about them in November.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, how many digs are between Rutherglen Line and McNutt?
I don't have my notebook, but there's quite a few. We've
So-
got like, and this is the thing, right? With most of these roads and that report that we've gone through, right? We have marked out dig out points that we do need to dig or a culvert replacement, right? So that's the other thing. If we sit down and say, okay, say that's the section of road you want to do, then we can associate a cost with the culvert replacements, the dig outs, that
Well,
sort of thing.
and that's why I was asking the question, because if there wasn't a lot of dig outs, maybe we'd be able to go a little further.
Yeah, so yeah, I know
We
off the
need-
top of my head, there's 3 decent ones.
So
Right.
that's not so bad.
And the only, I will say, most of them we can do like we did previously in-house, right? We've
Right.
been doing everything in-house, which is, I think, has been working great.
Yeah, I mean, and the culverts have been relined, so we're not doing any culverts.
Right, not the large ones, no.
I think everything under development's been relined.
Yeah, sorry, the development strips, sorry. I thought we were talking about lines like themselves.
Yeah,
We
no,
replaced quite a few culverts down some of the lines too. right?
sure. I just, like I said, I think
The big ones.
yeah,
Yeah,
I guess my thoughts is to keep going on development as much as we can. And then,
I like Railway and Mark though.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
$1.5 million job.
where do you live? Give or take.
No, it's not because I still have chip seal, guys.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if you want Alex to go through his report, just to
Yeah,
kind of highlight
sure,
some of those
sure.
roads.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious.
before we jump into roads, just because I appreciate the fact that you guys are gonna be doing your work plans and that'll tie into budget. I will assume that part of your work plans is to find efficiencies within departments as well.
Yeah.
So that we can ensure that we're talking, you know, hey, listen, if there's places that we can shave, we're gonna shave so that we can realign budgets, just being respectful of the taxpayers' dollars. You know, because obviously council needs to look at both the operating and the capital budget. But in that operating budget, and if we're trying to achieve 2% and we have 6% of projects that we need to get done, we're gonna have to find 4% somewhere. So that's part of that conversation. So if there's percentages off an operating line that can come, it'd be good for conversations for.
I mean, on that topic, I think we've looked into, or kind of gone that route with some stuff, right? Like our maintenance gravel, so we have a contract that's currently going on Webside Road and Rainville Road for belly dump maintenance gravel. But we're gonna be doing a couple of the smaller roads in town with our own vehicles, right?
Right.
So it might not be, you know what I mean, the best thing since sliced bread, but it's still getting done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And we're
Well, you're cutting costs.
Yeah, we're not paying the
Yeah.
trucking and the haulage and
Yeah,
the
for sure.
excess, right? So.
And just starting now, which is great, because it means that our budget's gonna be approved early next year or earlier than this year, right?
Our hope is always early.
Yeah.
Our hope is always, our target is March, April.
Yes.
Depends when we get the audit, and it depends when our third party agencies get their audit, so that we get their budget, right? So I think in September, one of the correspondence on council agenda from the DSAP was like expect a 4 to 6% increase, right? So they're still working on their budget. We don't know what that's going to be, but for 2026, we're gonna have to start with.
Well, we know they're in a
That goes up
deficit.
4%,
Yeah,
right?
you know they're in a deficit, right? So.
So we know we need to save for that, so, and internally, like, we've changed our IT companies, we're looking at different internet, so this is something we're constantly working on.
Cell phone.
Because, yeah, our cell phones, I'm looking at a new system for actual phones that will save us. We're looking for pennies at this point, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
pennies that count, so we're working.
So I wanna make sure that we're
Yeah.
communicating that really well as part of what
Yeah.
the work we're doing. Let's tell that great story of what we're doing to respect taxpayers' dollars, so.
Yeah, wherever we can find efficiencies, for sure. We've canceled the phone at the Tower Hall. 62. So-
So like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem like the best time. Yeah.
And then-
Start saying, no.
That's fun.
Okay.
Here, report,
Sure.
roads.
So this is just a proposed 2026 road work update. So the Public Works Department's completed numerous road jobs throughout the township during the 2025 season. Which include but not limited to such things as ditching, brushing, tar and chip, maintenance gravel, culvert repairs. As we plan for the 2026 season, a list of roads throughout the township that are in need of repair can be found below. So we started with Development Road. With the pulverization of Development Road completed in 2024 and 1 kilometer of tar and chip applied in 2025, Public Works Department would like to see the continuation of this project in the 2026 season. With Development Road being such a high traffic area, as well as a main artery road connecting neighboring communities, it is suggested that we complete 2 to 4 kilometers, what we can, of surface treatment next year, budget based. So from our continuation off Rutherglen line to the McNutt is 1 kilometer. From Rutherglen to Fisho would be 3, and Rutherglen to Trout Pond is 5 in total. Next we have Trunk Road, Railway, Mark, Church, and Gagne. In 2025, the township hired an engineer to complete a profile study from the top of Trunk Road following Railway and Mark to Church, proceeding down Gagne to the 4 corners of development. This is yet another highly traveled route for residents throughout the township that is in need of repair. The road service on Trunk, Railway, and Mark are very compromised, some spots more than others, with constant potholes, surface cracking of the existing hardtop, dips and valleys, as well as wheel ruts. Further engineering studies will need completed for all the roads listed, especially on Church Street due to the underground infrastructure. While taking budget into account for these repairs, it's foreseen that this span of roadway would have to be broken up into a yearly plan as it covers a total distance of 3 kilometers. It is believed that at the very least, this project can be kickstarted with the pulverization of the Trunk Hill. Not only is the roadway deteriorating fast due to the high traffic count, but it's also requiring large amounts of coal patch and staff attention on a weekly basis. The next road on here is Greenwood. Throughout the 2025 season, many complaints have been received from residents regarding the integrity of Greenwood Drive. The road surface has multiple cracks, potholes, protruding rocks, and uneven surface sections, the large dips and sunken spots, making traveling a concern for the public. As Greenwood connects Maple Road to Sunnyside Road, it serves as a frequent route for trucks hauling materials from local quarries or to many of the new residential developments located on Riverside Drive. The improper initial construction of this roadway, which believed to be the subbase material, is the cause behind this poor quality roadway. This road is a total distance of 800 meters. Lastly is Talon Crescent. As the township continues to develop with additional housing, Talon Crescent is a road in need of attention. With the proposed Gagne subdivision addition off of Talon Crescent, the road is in a state of repair. Currently, Talon Crescent has a poor surface from potholes, equipment loading and unloading. So that would be from the home builders currently in there. A cross culvert that will need replaced at the entrance, and both cul-de-sacs have minimum hard surface left in the center, so they're right down to the sub base. This repair would be projected for the 2027 season, as staff would like to see the proposed construction of the subdivision completed as to not disturb the integrity of the applied surface treatment following. As brought up in the past, these large turning trucks hauling material and equipment to the site can put unneeded stress on the roadway, and staff recommend completion following the subdivision. Another aspect of this is the township can meet the existing subdivision roadway, so the grade and slopes of that moving downstream to Ruther Glen line. This road is approximately 330 meters in length with 2 cul-de-sacs at either end. So based upon the information provided in this report, staff are looking to council for some guidance on which road projects are a priority moving into the 2026 construction season.
Anybody? I mean, develop, again, we started development from both ends, and that has been the game plan to keep going. We would need to know the numbers, like dig outs, what you estimate the cost to go to fee show is. I mean, I know going to fee show, you got a huge, that one massive dig out, so that's gonna cost huge. But there's also a lot of other dig outs, but that one around the corner,
Well, I know that there's one too on the hill just past Farmers.
yeah.
It's off the ground. So
Yeah, so there's gonna be a few big digs. I mean, we just need associated costs with those.
okay.
And the other thing I don't think we should pulverize Trunk Hill and not put something back on it. We'll never keep a hill there.
No, I know that. It's just I figured.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for
Just stating.
it needs to,
Start
again,
pulverizing.
it needs to be dug out, like it would need to be dug out, ditched.
Everything needs properly sloped and some drainage needs reinstated at the bottom of the hill, right?
Right.
So there's really not much there.
I mean, yeah, that hill should be dealt with sooner than later. I mean, like railway and stuff, I think we need to try and find a grant or some kind of provincial funding for that, because we just can't afford that job. Like,
No, it's a
that-
big job.
Look, the 900 meters we looked at last year was not $1 million.
Yeah, and especially too, I know Nikki and I were talking, and when we get to Church Street, we've got all the underground drainage that runs from essentially where the church is, right across the road there, that ties into those catch basins at the bottom of all the hills, right? So it's a big,
So you're adding, so that's quite a bit of money to do that kind of
for
work.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. The only other, I mean, yeah, you're right on the money with the roads that need to be done. The only other spot I would like to see done would be the transition from Bonfield to Corbeil, that 30 meter section where it's so,
Are you on Sunnyside?
yeah.
So, and that's something that I'd like to reach out to East Ferris about, because I know in the past there was a proposed project that was supposed to go on for a dig out to meet up their existing tar and chip that never actually went through. So there's a drainage issue down there.
Is this the one that gets washed out all the?
No, it's the
just
center of
really,
the
it's
spot.
it's just a horrible transition from one township to the other.
So yeah, like
It's low,
It's a
it's
bump.
always blown out.
And one of the other problems is that road gets so much traffic from the quarries and stuff, right? The ground is actually so soft that every time we do put some base material, whether it be stone, and then cap it with cap it with
Cool.
cold patch, jeez. It just gets blown out, right?
Yeah, I think it needs I would think you need to do a full on
It
dig
needs a dig out.
to
for sure.
sub base, geotech the bottom, and Quarry B and Quarry A. Like spend the money on the sub base in that section
Well,
and give it a grade
and
raise.
give the water somewhere to go rather than.
Right. It's low, the water all goes there, but you need, again, the geotech will stop the clay and the B from mixing.
Yeah, that flux too that you get the surface.
Right. So I think we need to go all in on that one to do it right.
Is that on Sunnyside?
Yeah, Sunnyside where the transition from Corbeil to Bonfield is.
Just before the sign there. Just before like the.
The
Oh,
Corbeil
Corbeil
sign
sign.
that they have. I mean, it's still on our side, but
Yeah, and that's, I just wanted to reach out to East Ferris because I believe they were the last ones that.
But
put
they
some
did that
material
road
in there.
already, right?
No, I know that, but like in that hole, right? I think that they might have put some material in there opposed to the last time. I'm not sure. I'll have to call them. So
Yeah, I think there's a little communication issues there. I'll just leave it at that. But anyways, like I said, I think to do that right so it doesn't get blown out,
Mhm.
like Quarry B compacted, like geotech Quarry B, A gravel, and then some kind of coating on top of it. Well, go back to
Well, that's
chip seal.
the thing with, excuse me, all of these roads, right? So for development, it's not a Band-Aid, we're actually digging and fixing the.
No, yeah, but I mean, some spots on develop, we could get away with using a bank B material instead of quarry, which was a lot cheaper.
It's gonna last. right?
Yeah, it'll last, but
Yeah, that's what I like about this is that it's not, like I like that we finished development
Mhm.
and it's not a Band-Aid. We're fixing it, we're digging out the soft spots and
doing
finishing it.
the section that we just hit, right? Like we did cap that with Quarry A and
Yeah,
pulled it,
perfect, yeah,
right? So it's not like we're using that existing grinding material. That's just your base, but essentially there is a sub base under that still, right?
yeah.
So
No, it looks good. I mean, the ditches are there, the water can get off the road quickly. And it's got some place to flow.
and I think I will be honest, I think that's one of our biggest problems throughout the township, right? The water's got nowhere to go.
The water can't get off the road, and then it can't travel through the ditches, and the ditches are so full of tag alters that the sun can't get to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I feel you're doing it right.
And I'm sure like everyone sitting here understands and knows too, that every time we redo a ditch, we have to reset those laneway culverts to match, right? So that's why they're not a foot and a half above.
Right, so water will actually
So-
flow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, but like I said, I just think we should throw that in that, cause that has been brought up a couple times from residents.
Yeah,
And I think you got a culvert up there that's failed out that way too.
the crossroad culvert.
Yeah. So,
It's caved in actually.
yeah. I mean, are we trying to tackle that before winter or no?
Yeah, if we have time, yeah. I mean, this upcoming week, we've got 4 culverts planned.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said.
I'm hoping the weather holds off.
Yeah.
I mean,
But like I said, that's the only thing I would add to the list is that little section there and see if we can't tune it up a lot better than the way it is. Grade raise it so the water doesn't come out and onto the road, sit
do
there.
it properly.
I concur. Nary, have anything else?
No, I've completed everything.
Peter.
I'm good.
All right. Resolutions to be considered, none. Correspondence, none, adjournment. Moved by Nary, second by Jason, that this meeting be adjourned at,
8:10.
all in favor. Carried.